Do you want to improve your photography? Maybe your skills are getting a bit rusty, your creativity is a little bit low, or you just don't know what to shoot. Today I'm photographing a project, and the ideas and tips I'm sharing will improve your photography. Hello, good morning, welcome back to the channel. It seems like it's been absolutely ages since I've actually managed to get out and do a video. In England we've had nothing but rain, more rain and a bit more rain on top of that. It's been absolutely abysmal, and I've actually tried to come out and shoot this video about 3 times now, and each time I've just given up and gone back home. It has given me, however, a much needed rest from YouTube, and I feel really rejuvenated and ready to go. The problem I've got, although it's beautiful weather today, I couldn't decide where to go. I've got a bit of a creative rut. I've got a bit of a habit of laying in bed in the morning, not getting out and not doing anything. So unfortunately today I couldn't decide where to go. But there's been something I wanted to share with you guys for some time now, and that's the power of working on small mini projects. So I've come to a location which I've been to time and time again, and I've always taken the same old photograph from the same spot. We're going to do that again this morning, but it's going to be the centerpiece of a much bigger set of work. So let's get to the top of this hill and I'll explain to you a little bit more when we get up there. So I've deliberately come to a location today that I know very well. And the reason I've done it is simply because I want to get this all done in one video and not spread out over several weeks. Now, of course, if you're shooting your own project, it doesn't matter how many times you go. What's important is it lifts you into those doldrums, it gets you back out in the field and gets you thinking a little bit more about your locations and a little bit more creatively. Now, coming back to a location you've been to before and somewhere like this where I am today makes it even harder, because guess what, lots of people come to this location, lots of people visit it, and if you look on the internet you'll find loads of images of this church. So we come out blinded a little bit by what we've seen, but by taking a little bit more time we can find those original compositions. Okay, so that's one in the bag, that's the standard photograph done, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. What I've done for this photograph is I've just included these rocks here in the foreground and the little sort of gap in between them, taking your eye up to the church at the top. There's a beautiful blue blank sky behind it, so we're not worried about what's in the background too much, but it's just a good ranging shot. It's a good idea to show people what your project's about. And now this centerpiece of the work is going to say it's about this church. So and just another thing, just to let you know, just to make my life a little bit harder, I've decided to shoot every single one of these pictures composed as a square photograph. And there's a reason for that, because I've decided on how I want to present my project. And that's something else you need to think about before you start. How are you going to show this? Is it going to be a book? Is it going to be a handout? Is it going to be a print? I'm going to try and produce a 9 image 3x3 grid on one sheet of square paper, or on the screen as you're going to see it. So now I've told you what I'm going to do at the end. I'm not going to show you the finished photographs, I'll show you the raw files as we go through, but at the end I'll show you the finished article. So what makes you stand out as a photograph is not turning around now and going, guess what, I'm going to go home, I've got that photograph. It's finding the other 8 images which other people haven't seen, haven't thought of and haven't taken. That's what I've got to do now. Turning a location like this into a mini project challenges you. It makes you think a little bit more about what you're photographing. I've come across another subject that's a close-up detail, and in fact I think a lot of my images today will turn out to be that. There'll be small details, small things around this building, around this part of the landscape that inspire me and draw me to them. Now this is a bit of a real cliche, I must admit. It's another sort of cliche image. It's a rusty bolt against a fairly nice textured door. But what I like about this is the side lighting that it's got, the angle of lighting where it's coming from. I'm going to be shooting almost into the light but across the subject, which is going to really give me some nice highlights, some details. So I'm hoping it will look really good as a finished image on the page. And I think the second photograph might even be behind me, but I'm not sure yet, so we'll just see how we get on with that. I've got to remember though, when I leave here today, I've got to leave with 9 pictures. If I leave with 8, the project is over. So in this photograph, what I've wanted to do is capture a little bit of the texture and the character of this building. There's an old wooden door. I'm a little bit worried about this wall on the right hand side because it's really quite overexposed and it's probably going to upset the balance of the image, but there's not a lot I can do about it. But I'm not too worried about it. I'm not overly worried, because don't forget, what we're shooting is a project. It's about capturing the essence of this place. It's about capturing some details, and so it doesn't have to stand on its own. It's one fantastic photograph. It's part of a sequence. It's part of the story of my visit to this location. So have a look at this photograph and see what you think. And like I said, I'm going to show you the finished edited images all together at the end, because that's how they're being put together and how they're being designed to work. That's photograph 3 in the bag. Well, I do really hope that you guys can hear me. I definitely picked the wrong day to try and shoot a video up here. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. It's nice to have the background of the music in the as I'm taking my images. What I'm trying to do with this project is take you on a journey around this building and around this location. So we started off with that central vision, that central view of the church against the background in its environment, and we've taken some more close-up details. So we've come along the outside wall of the church. We've taken some of that rusty lock, and we've taken some of some foliage growing out of the wall going around it. The photograph that I've taken up now is taking us back in towards the building again, but it's doing it in a way that we're concentrating on the foreground, and then eventually we're going to be going over the wall and up the path and around the church to pick out some more details. So what I've done with this image is I've taken some photographs where the foreground should be nice and sharp and the background should be blurred, or should I say soft. It's not going to be really blurred, but hopefully it's going to be soft enough just so you can see what the background is, understand what the subject's all about, but it's concentrating on the details in the foreground. This is image 4. I can see image 5 and 6. We're nearly getting towards the end of the project and our target. Let's see what we can go and find. That's 5. I can't actually believe I'm going to say this because it's such a cliche, and I actually hate this saying because I hear it so often. If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. But unfortunately, although it might be a cliche and words I cringe at every time I hear them, it's actually very true. Because the fact of the matter is, if you keep taking the same photographs and keep working the same style of photography, you are going to end up with the same results every single time you go out to take an image. That's why it works better if you try and push yourself a little bit and take some different photographs. Take something which stretches your creativity that little bit further. The image that I've set up here is just a small section of this archway over this beautiful old door. The textures on it are absolutely to die for. And with the strong sort of side lighting that we've got, it works really, really well. Sorry, there's the bells again. I hope you can hear me over the top of it. So I've set it up, and as I've said, it's just a section of the door because I'm shooting in that square format. So I've just taken the top quarter of it. I'll put some viewfinder footage up so you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, the door is actually just in the bottom of the frame, and then we've got the beautiful archway and that stonework over the top, and hopefully you're just getting some nice detail come through. I think I'm going to convert all of these images into monochrome when I actually display them at the end. So I'll put the raw file up for you now, and then you can have a look at the finished image as a set at the end of the video. Of course, shooting something entirely different takes you out of your comfort zone, but you know what? That's what's really working well here today for me. Taking myself out of that comfort zone, getting away from the normal landscapes that I would photograph, and closing in some of the details and some of the architectural things which I'm finding is creating images which are different and interesting to me. It's taking me to new places, and hopefully in the final project, when it all comes together, I'm going to have a set of images which I'm going to be really pleased about. They don't have to be the best images I've ever taken, but they do have to be images which bring me back to this place and the time that I enjoyed exploring it. I've just taken what I think is image 7. So I'm certainly stretching myself now because it's getting really quite contrasty, direct light. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, and by now I would normally be on my way back home, or even back home processing the images. I've got 2 more images left to find. I think I know what they're going to be, so I'm going to get on and have a look. I'll put up the raw picture of this window that I've just photographed, and I'm going to have a look for my next composition. So that's photograph number 9. I've just got to hope they all come out and they all work well. But like I said, if they don't, I'm not overly worried. I'm not too worried if there's a bit of exposure errors in there, if there's a little bit of focusing errors, because it's the overall look of the project that I want to do. It was getting out and enjoying it and making the most of what we've got. So I'm going to put up this final raw file, and then I'm going to go home, put together the project for you, and I'm going to display those finished images right towards the end of the video. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed that video. I certainly enjoyed making it. I certainly enjoyed producing the photographs. What I hope most of all is that you got something out of it, that through watching this video it's given you some ideas on how you can get a bit more out of your own photography. Maybe get you out of the doldrums that we've been in over the last few weeks with the real wet weather that we've had in the UK. Maybe when you go to a familiar location that you've been to before, you'll look a little bit deeper and you'll look at taking some slightly different images, and who knows, maybe you'll go on to shoot your own projects. Either way, if you did enjoy the video, please give it a like, share it amongst your friends, and if you want to see more of this content, then please subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get those updates as soon as I release new work. If you haven't visited my new website, please go and have a look. There's lots of images, my portfolios on there, and information about what else I can offer you as photographers. So bye for now, get out there, enjoy your own photography, and I'll see you in the next video.